Hello, everybody. Welcome to your favorite show on Thursday afternoons at 3 p.m. Eastern. It is live at Epiphan, and I'm your host, Dan.
I'm George.
And welcome to the studio. We're happy to have you here with us today. So, George, what are we chatting about today?
Today we have a really interesting topic, actually one that's been requested quite a bit. We're going to be giving you a sneak peek, pulling back the curtain, if you will, on our studio space. We did one of these in our old studio. This is a new studio space, so we're going to do that again and show you what we've been working on.
Yeah, absolutely. And because this is a live show, obviously, we want you guys to be a part of it. So if you have any questions, comments, concerns, throw them in chat. Let us know, and we'll be happy to answer all your questions live here on the show.
I'm watching it right now.
All right. So you had some news you wanted to share.
Yeah, so we've been plugging this for a couple weeks now. We are counting down the last final days of the Streaming Media Reader's Choice Awards, which can give you a chance to win this cool 360 4K camera, which I really want to win, so maybe don't vote. I know, I'm kidding. Vote. Epiphan's nominated in 5 different categories, which is really cool, and it's a big honor for us. So definitely check that out. We'll put links in all the things so you guys can go and vote. Voting closes on the 25th, so only a couple more days left.
What would you do with a 360 4K camera?
Well, it's not about need or want or what. I don't know. I'm not sure, actually. There's a lot of things I'd like to do. I think a lot of maybe just artistic cinematography stuff. Like, I've seen people do like 360 sunset shots and stuff like that. I think that kind of thing would be really cool, especially here. Like, if you think about it, if you go up into Gatineau Park, there could be some amazing vistas you could shoot 360 up there, right? So I think that's what I would probably do with it.
Myself, I think if I had a 360 camera, I'd want to try a live stream, of course.
Of course. Well, on YouTube, you can do that.
Yeah.
That's the cool part.
Yeah, we were testing that just a couple weeks ago, doing a 360 live stream, and it worked quite well. Facebook's capable as well. And I think I'd want to try something with sports, throw it right at center field or
that could be interesting.
Middle of the basketball court, see what happens. It could be pretty interesting.
I think there's a lot you can do, and I think that's really, it's such a new technology, and so I think there's a lot of out-of-the-box things people could do with 360.
So if you want to win a 360 camera, like George said, just go to the link that we have in the video description on YouTube. We'll throw it in Facebook chat as well, and go vote for us in the Streaming Media Awards. Give yourself a chance to win that super cool camera.
Exactly.
So George, what's new with you?
Not much. I mean, summer was coming to an end here in Ottawa, and then it came back with a vengeance. So other than enjoying the weather recently, not much is new, really.
Yeah.
Last week we had Anne on the show, and that was nice to have a new co-host and get more.
You trying to get
involved.
rid of me already?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, what else is new? What we're talking about today, this studio.
Yes.
And we still have our previous studio, but this studio it offers us some new stuff. So it's a little bit bigger. It's definitely got a lot more depth on the Z-axis, as we say.
Yeah.
So a lot more space. We know that you guys wanted to learn a little bit. Oh, hello, camera 2. You guys were asking us, you wanted to see what the setup's all about. So actually here playing on my laptop, we were just showing some clips from us. This was actually sort of a cubicle. This was kind of like a cubicle space before. Right. So we had to sort of tear it down before we could build it back up, and it was a nice sort of team building event as well for all of us to sort of do a little demo and rebuild. So we're going to give you a tour today, George.
We're not done yet, though, right? And that's the idea, is that this is still a work in progress. We're still working on fine-tuning some of the things, so definitely not finished. I think in a lot of cases, all studios are a permanent work in progress where you're always going to fine-tune things. And we made some changes just this week.
Well, we made changes this morning.
Yes.
I mean, we're always in the studio trying to find little tweaks, little things that we can make better, improvements. Some of the things are, new pieces of equipment that we invest in, new technology, but also some things are just as simple as, I don't know if you noticed, I think George was just showing these blankets here, and we'll get to those in a moment. But why don't we start off by sort of anchoring ourselves here.
The foundation.
The foundation of it all. This is the Epiphan desk. And this is different than the desk we had in the old studio.
This is a lot nicer than the desk in the old studio. So I mean, I'm pretty sure this is just a workbench.
Yeah.
Like this kind of thing I kind of want in my garage right now, but at the same time,
it feels sturdy as heck.
Yeah, really solid wood top. It's heavy, so I mean, this is a great piece to work from.
And we've got lots of room here. I mean, we've got our notes for the episode. We can have a laptop, a few different pieces of equipment here, and we've got plenty of space.
We could fit 4 people at this if we needed to.
Yeah. The other thing we use this desk for, I mean, you guys are familiar with this show, but we also shoot, you know, other videos that aren't the live show. We need places where we can take photographs of some of our products, where we can create other types of content as well. So having a larger desk definitely gives us more playroom. The other thing with this desk is it's a lot higher, I noticed, than the desk.
Yeah, the other one is a regular desk. It's just a regular IKEA desk, which, I mean, served its purpose initially, but as we kind of expanded things out, we needed something a little more durable, a little more spacious, and
just
higher.
I like the added height because I feel a little bit more comfortable.
Especially for some of us, you know, we're not, you know,
Yeah, exactly,
it's a long way down to a regular desk, but
We got stools too.
well, but that's a great thing, right? Is that it's easier at a higher desk to jump up and move around, right?
Yeah.
So if we need to do something a little more active, like we're going to do right now, then you know it's easier to jump off of a high stool and move around.
Yeah.
So we could even do this show standing if we wanted.
Yeah, I mean, there's not too much of a difference here. And actually, we're going to be creating some sort of more informative how-to type content.
Yeah.
And that is more of like a standing format
Exactly,
as
and
well.
I think that'll work well with this. It's definitely going to be
Yeah.
a lot. I would prefer standing, to be
Yeah.
honest, for this kind of thing.
All right, well, we're going to stand this episode. Why don't you stand with us? We're going to take a little tour around here. So we talked about the desks. Let's go over here in front of the desk.
Yeah, so what makes the desk look so good on camera?
Well, if you're going to have your talent front and center, you got to make sure they're lit well. So we've got a couple different lights. We have sort of a traditional, you know, 3-point lighting setup, but we've kind of upgraded it a little beyond that with some extra lights as well. So why don't we start here? So this is an LED panel, and if you see
Very
from
bright.
wow, sorry, I didn't mean to blind you there, George. You see, this thing is is sometimes referred to as a flapjack style LED.
Right. It's
So
very thin, which is nice.
Yeah, it's incredibly thin, and
LED means there's no heat coming off of that.
yeah, very little heat. You know, incandescent bulbs, they would warm up this studio space very
I'd
quickly.
be sweating already if we
Yeah.
had some more traditional
So
lights
these are
in
cool. These are from Falcon.
Okay.
They're actually pretty popular on YouTube reviews. If you want to go on and check out more about these lights, just type in Falcon. This is the 48-watt version. So you see it's got a pretty good size. It's a very diffused light panel, so it's like an edge-lit LED. And I'm going to turn it around here. I don't know if you're going to be able to see how much you're going to be able to see this, George, but here on the back there's some really nice sort of soft-touch digital controls, so I can adjust my light intensity using this.
You can do your temperature there as well.
Yeah, that's right. I can change the light temperature, so you see we can go to like a warmer Kelvin rating, crank it back up. There's also, I think you were mentioning, George, you noticed this.
Yeah, I saw this. I'm like, is that seriously a Wi-Fi antenna hanging on the back of this thing? And I see there's the connector for it here.
Yeah, so these lights, if they're connected over like a wireless signal, you can actually be adjusting all of the panels.
So you can synchronize them.
Exactly.
They already come synchronized.
Oh yeah.
That
Oh
is
yeah.
super
Exactly.
cool.
Yeah. So you put them
Wow.
on a channel, and then, you know, let's say we've got these on light stands, so it's very easy for us to reach the controls.
Right, but if they were
perhaps-
mounted in the ceiling or something, then it might be different.
Yeah, that's just it. We also have a battery mount here, so if you want to take these on the road, do something mobile, you can do that as well.
I guess that's a big advantage with LEDs is that they're going to draw so little power that you can actually power it off of a battery, whereas the old style lights, they consume a lot of energy, and you're going to have to be plugged in.
And the more energy you're consuming, the more heat you're
Exactly,
putting out
yeah,
as well. So
yeah, so I really like these. These are nice.
yeah, so this one is called the Falcon SO-48TD. Over here we've got a very similar one.
They are bright.
It's just
every time.
whoa. It's
This one especially. I mean, this is a lot larger.
yeah.
This is the 68.
This is the 68. So same thing, just bigger. What that's going to do is it's going to reduce shadows on our faces. Nice soft roll off. You know, not so directional that it's going to be creating chin shadows and nose shadows. It helps us to create a very nice, evenly lit and sort of soft tone to our lighting.
Same controller on the back, so you kind of don't have to worry about different settings and stuff. And of course, still the Wi-Fi, so it can
Yeah.
sync up.
Yeah, exactly.
That's
So
really cool.
we got two of these up front. We actually have a third one that we haven't figured out what exactly we're going to do with
Okay.
yet. But yeah, very useful. Why don't we go around the back? We'll show you what we got behind the desk. So here we've got just some more LED panels. These are like your traditional like CowboyStudio LED panels. So they're battery operated as well. We've got them plugged in because we don't want to be recharging batteries all the time. But here, part of the advantage of us having the added depth in our studio is we can create some sort of lighting zones.
Yeah, so I mean, I don't know if people realize when they're normally seeing us how far back this actually is from where we're normally sitting. I mean, this is a good 16 feet almost. I mean, it's quite a ways. So and we have other pieces back here, but it means that we can add some other set pieces. We can put pieces back here, our mobile rack that we use to take to shows and stuff. We can have all that in the background, and it's not cramped. I mean, our old studio space, there's about 3 feet.
Oh, we could reach back and touch the wall behind us.
Here, there's some room to breathe, room to move.
Well, the thing that I like in any studio setup, depth is like, it's kind of your best friend because it gives you more control over creating some lighting zones, create some texture to what you're doing. We're able to use some light color as well. So we've got like a nice cool blue gel on this light. Over here we've got a nice warm gel. And what that does is it helps to just create some more definition, some more layers to the lighting setup, and it makes it look more interesting. It also helps us keep whatever's back here sort of nice and sort of shallow depth of field, nice soft focus. So
at the same time, we've put some simple lights down low here that are throwing a little bit of light on some of these set pieces, so that they're there, but not a focus, I guess.
So, I mean, let us know, everybody. What do you think about the lighting setup? What would you do to improve it? Do you have any suggestions for us? We'd love to know. Our sort of set deck right now is very utilitarian.
No balloons this week. I mean,
no
a couple
balloons.
weeks ago we had balloons for our 25th episode, so it's a little empty.
I mean, we're just working with, like, we're just getting this started. So we're gonna do some more to sort of do the set deck. I love the idea of having those pearls back there, some digital screens. That's one thing we've talked about. So let us know what you think. What would you suggest we put onto our set? What do you want to see back there? I don't know, some AV, some tech stuff. There's all kinds of options.
For sure.
So why don't we continue around? So we've talked about lights, we've talked about the desk. Why don't we talk about audio a little bit? Now, right now,
Big one.
right now, because we're moving around, you're actually hearing us through the C100's built-in microphone. So I'm pretty sure we probably don't sound incredibly amazing right now.
Definitely not how we normally would sound, for sure.
Yeah, but at the top of the show, you were hearing us through this, and this is sort of our desk mic, if you will.
So this is a brand new one. We just put this in.
Yeah, that's brand new as of today. This is the first episode we've actually used that. And it's a Rode mic. It's a Rode NTG4, I believe, shotgun mic. Very popular, very common shotgun mic, reasonably priced, directional, which is what we want here in the studio. In our office space, actually, there's a lot of sound coming just from sort of the air system, which is the case in a lot of office spaces. You don't have control over the fans.
And I guess that's one of the big things with audio to try and tackle is that ambient noise in the background. What's the noise floor in the office, right? If it's the AC or if it's, one of the maintenance guys pounding or on pipes or something, like how do you get rid of that? Because sometimes you have to go live at 3 o'clock, whether you like it or not.
Exactly.
And
maybe there's ringing phones in the background. So, the more directional audio really works for our setup.
Right.
Now, there's some other things that we've been doing. George was showing these blankets earlier, and you see one up here as well. We're just using these as audio dampening. Right now, we've just got some thin sheets. We're probably going to upgrade these to like thicker quilted blankets that are better for audio dampening. We've also got like a bit of a more professional sort of sound booth over here.
This is actually our portable sound booth. We use it with that mic we were looking at a little earlier. When we're doing voiceover work and things like that, we'll use the sound booth and sort of pop that in. And actually, we did get a question in chat, and it's probably a great time to look at this because someone was asking why we aren't using lav mics right now.
Yeah. So I'll tell you reasons. There's a couple of reasons. Lav mics would be perfect right now, and what we would do is we'd have each a lav mic wirelessly into the camera. Now, at the moment, we only actually have, one of our lav mics is out right now. So we have two here in the office that we typically use, but one of them is not in the office today. So rather than lav one of us and have sort of inconsistent audio, we'd rather just give a consistent audio experience. Even though we
lower
reckon,
grade instead of
you know, it could be better. You're completely correct. We should be wearing lav mics right now. Apologies that we don't both have those on, but sometimes you got to just roll with the punches.
So we have been looking at upgrading that as well, because we've run into this equipment conflict being shared with some things before, that we're looking at maybe getting a different lav system. And if we do that, we'll definitely share that with you guys later on and show you how that works.
Yeah. We usually use the Sennheiser EW lavs. They're great.
They are, yeah.
Very versatile. One gets
the
the
nice
job
part
done.
is that the receiving on those is just a small pack, the same size
Yeah.
of the one you wear, whereas some lavs, it's got this gigantic base station, right?
And actually, the new Sennheiser lavs no longer use the pack with like the XLR cable. It actually is just a small little receiver that plugs right into the XLR, and it's just like the size of a thumb drive almost.
Really? That's cool. We got to get some of those.
Yeah, I agree. So we're going to get one of those lavs. Next time we do this walking tour, we're going to have better audio.
Perfect.
But let's continue the tour. Let's go around the desk. Why don't we go this way?
So you were mentioning these baffles. I guess, I mean, we even have cardboard trying to block some of the vents up there. Same idea, right? We're just trying to minimize the amount of noise coming from these different
as much as possible. Now these sheets are sort of a temporary. You can get professional grade audio blankets, and like what they would use on set for professional video production. That's kind of the direction we'd like to go. Right now, we're just making do with what we had here in the office.
So would even like something a little heavier, like moving blankets, would that even do something?
That would be perfect. That's actually, moving blankets are actually, they feel and look very similar to like a professional
just
grade
a higher
audio.
density, but not too thick kind of thing. Okay.
Yeah,
So
exactly.
that'd be cool.
Okay, so we talked lights, we talked audio, we showed the desk, the setup. Let's talk about cameras. So right now, you are seeing us through the C100, which George is sort of behind the lens. And over here,
No.
that's
The infinite loop,
Inception there.
Yeah.
But over here, this is our main studio cam that we've been using. This is actually the Sony A6300.
Yeah.
I got to be honest, I was like a little bit skeptical when we thought we could use just a small mirrorless camera. I was more familiar with like the Sony A7S. I had never used.
And that's a very popular one.
Yeah, A7S, extremely popular. I had never used the 6300, but I gotta say, I've been pretty impressed with the image quality.
Well, we got this because it does 4K. I mean, we don't usually use it in 4K most of the time, except for a couple episodes ago we did that 4K one, which if you guys want to check that out, go back on YouTube and check it out in 4K. And you know, this camera hasn't been without, I guess, its growing pains, as we've learned, but now we've got it to a point where it's running exactly the way we need it. It originally, you know, Sony ships it with a honestly a really poor power supply. You have to buy a better accessory power supply if you're going to run it in a permanent setup like this. But now we have that, and it's running great. So there's some little things, little tricks but once it's running, this camera is awesome.
Yeah, I gotta say, like even in HD, the quality to me looks comparable with like a 4K image quality, even when we're looking at just a HD output on the HDMI. And I've got to say, like Sony's imaging technology is really advancing quickly.
Yeah, and they've always made great optics too, so the lens on it is nice.
Yeah, exactly. So what kind of lens did we have on here, George? Do you remember?
That's a 51.8 fixed.
Okay, so we're using a fixed 50 mil lens. We've got the right distance from our desk. One of the things that we sort of had to figure out is getting the distance right between the desk and the camera so that when you see our main shot, and Lisa, why don't we just switch to our main shot for a moment? So you're going to hear us through our Rode mic again when we're over here, but as you can see, when we're
too tall for this shot.
when we're in this shot, like getting the positioning exactly right, where we're only seeing the edges of the background. It took a little while to sort of figure out what focal length of lens we needed to use, get that angle exactly right. We don't really want to see beyond the width of our backdrop. So,
but you do see the issue here with some of our height that, again, we would have to make adjustments to do standing properly.
Yeah.
But, you know, it's we could raise this, we could raise the camera. And I guess one thing hopefully you saw it while we had the mobile camera up, is that our view as hosts from back here, we have a monitor stand in front of us, in front of the camera. That right now we just have a temporary monitor there. It's really designed for a TV, which I know we'll eventually get in there. The idea is that we have our confidence monitor right in front of us, so that when Lisa, our producer, essentially is going to do a switch to one of the other shots.
Let's switch right now, actually, back
Yeah.
to our main camera. Now we can see which camera she is using.
Exactly, and so that really helps to, for us as the host, to know what's happening, what shot we're on, and what's going on. So, right now I actually do find that this temporary monitor we have up here, which is just a regular 24-inch Dell monitor, I do find that a little small. And if it was just a little bit bigger, even if it was like a 32-inch or a 40-inch TV, then that would actually be a lot nicer. And the stand's built for it, so we just have to get something in there.
The other thing you could do with a monitor like this is, like, you don't necessarily have to use it just as a reference monitor. You could have your show notes on there. You could have your chat running on there. There's all kinds of different things that when you're hosting a live stream that you might want to be able to see on a monitor, whether it's the chat or whatever else.
If we were doing a single shot where we didn't do really any switching or anything like that, I'd use it as a teleprompter, basically, which would be fantastic.
So why don't we take a walk sort of behind. So this is, again, just another blanket we're using for audio. This is helping to sort of give Lisa her own zone of audio that doesn't interfere with our sound. But why don't we go around behind? We'll take a look. So say hello, everybody. Say hello to Lisa. So Lisa's here running Pearl 2, and she's got a setup where she can see, basically she's got YouTube and Facebook stream previews here, so she can see what's happening on the stream. She can switch using Pearl. We also have a mixer here with all of our audio sources, and we find that that's like an easy way to sort of manage all of our audio sources in one place.
Yeah, and with that one we can bring in a lot of different audio options. So normally we're using that shotgun mic, but if we did have lavs or any of those things, we could run it through that as well. Or if we're bringing audio from maybe another source, if we're doing pre-roll music or something like that, we can pipe it all through that mixer and balance everything out. So,
yeah, exactly. It's a pretty good, it's surprisingly compact amount of space that it takes to run this whole thing. Lisa technically doesn't even need to have a laptop here necessarily. Someone else could be doing that in another room. And she could just be focusing on Pearl. But being the trooper that she is, we've got her sort of doing double duty. But it's nice to be able to control everything from one sort of small desk station, again, not taking up too much space.
Yeah. Well, I wonder, can we swing that camera a little farther around, kind of get Lisa's view of how this looks, so she could see everything that's happening, with us sitting at the desk. She has a great view. She sees all that lighting, any adjustments. She can give us cues when necessary, and get all those pieces going. Pretty traditional, really. That's what you'd expect from any sort of control booth. So it's working really well. I guess that's.
Yeah. Well, let's head back to the desk. I'm sure George's arms are getting tired from this long handheld shot. We'll give him a little break. All right. Why don't we switch back to our main? And okay, we're back. So that's the peek behind the curtain. We kind of showed you a little bit of what's happening outside of this sort of frame that you're so used to. Do you have any questions about the setup? Let us know in chat.
I'm monitoring that now, so if you guys have any questions, throw them in there and we'll do our best to answer them.
In the meantime, there's some more news that we wanted to tap into, George.
Yeah, we do have some of our staff attending NAB New York, which is October 18th and 19th. NAB New York, I guess, is a little bit smaller than the big NAB show in Vegas every year, but it's, we'll have a setup there with Pearl, Webcaster, a bunch of Epiphan product, as well as our staff. So if you guys want to stop in there, say hi, check out our products, ask questions, we'll be available.
Will you be there?
I personally will not be, unfortunately.
So no autograph signing at NAB New York, unfortunately. What else is happening? We've got a stream coming up. IBM, we talked about this a little bit, but on the 28th at 2 p.m., there's a stream with Photo Joseph and IBM, and they're going to be talking about all kinds of professional tips for live streaming. Photo Joseph really, he extremely knowledgeable.
He's got a cool studio setup himself.
Yeah, he certainly does. I know he's familiar with using a lot of our products, which I believe they'll be talking about a little bit.
Yep.
So if you want to learn some like really pro live streaming tips, take a look in the video description on YouTube, and you'll find some information about how you can register for.
It is a webinar, so you do have to register. So if you're interested in watching that, make sure you register.
Also, next week, as usual on Thursday afternoon, we will be doing this show again. And actually, we're going to be looking at Webcaster X2 once again. Everybody wants more Webcaster. So
It's a popular product. I spend a lot of my day talking about that product these days. So.
Super cool. I was actually just down in Toronto yesterday with...
I was going to ask you about that. Was there any little sneak peeks you can give us about what you were doing down there?
Well, we'll be sharing some more about it in days to come, but a really great YouTube channel called Edgy Veg just launched their new cookbook. And it was a very big deal, big live stream for them. And of course, they used Webcaster X2 for that. So we're going to have some behind the scenes from their live stream setup. It's really cool for me personally to see such professional YouTubers who are really, on their game when it comes to social media. They had like a run sheet with all of their social posts minute by minute. Really cool to see how they do things. So we're going to be sharing some of that content later on the YouTube channel. Make sure to subscribe to the YouTube channel so that you get all of our content as it's released. Cool. And we'll share some more information. Next week on the show, like I said, we're going to be talking about Webcaster X2 again. And we're going to be taking it out on the road again, George. There's actually... are you familiar with Carp Fair?
I am. I've never actually been to the Carp Fair, but I am familiar with it.
So Carp Fair is a local sort of country fair that predates Canada. And we're going to be taking Webcaster there, maybe go on some rides, check out the Ferris wheels, see some animals, and do some fun live streams. So
we're going to have to figure out how to set up a kit to make that happen.
Exactly. So check out the show next week, and we'll share some stuff from Carp Fair.
Well, that one should be a really interesting one, so I hope you guys join us for that, because I get questions all day, every day about how can I take Webcaster and do these mobile things. So we're obviously going to have a lot more details about how maybe build a kit to do just that.
Yeah, I can't wait to play some of those midway games, maybe win some prizes myself.
Yeah. We'll see who gets the biggest stuff.
Bumper cars.
Oh, yeah.
That could be cool.
That could be good.
Hey, if you're looking to do a 360 live stream on bumper cars, that could be pretty cool.
Ooh. Now we'll get some ideas.
Some inspiration anyway. So
anyway, guys, definitely catch us next week on that one. We'll get you lots of details. Share these posts with your friends if you know people that are interested in any of this stuff, getting into live streaming or changing their live streaming setup, just needing tips and hints. Share this stuff with them. Click like, subscribe, all those things. We're here, like we always say, every Thursday, 3 o'clock Eastern, sharing you all kinds of different streaming stuff and interesting things that we find. So hopefully you'll join us every week. Until then, I'm George.
And I'm Dan.
We'll see you next week.
So long.